So, welcome to Raw's IA Study Circle. Uh, we are going to discuss about the QIP mains answer writing practice. So, the answer writing practice is of history of modern India and post-independent India. So, the first part of the question, let me read the question. Identify the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. So, now why this question? So, why have we picked this question? Again, this question it is an important theme. So today we talk about introducing new concepts, bringing in some concept of humanism, again the concept of new pattern of education system, abolishing certain evil practices which are still practiced in the society. So we need a new outlook to be seen in India today, and again that's why we picked this topic, and it's an important theme which is currently undergoing in India. So that's the reason why we picked this question. So again, the second part is how to decode the question or the answer approach. So decode the question here, what are we going to do, or how are we going to write an answer for this question? So again, it reads as identify. So you're going to mark the points of Indian Renaissance, and it's a very simple question, characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. So here we are going to talk only about the features, because Indian Renaissance is totally different from the Western Renaissance. So what are the Indian Renaissance? So how did it change the Indian mindset? So we're going to see that part today. So the decoding is just you're going to write the features. So decode is just you're going to write the features here. And again the answer approach. So again the answer approach is nothing but again the structure of the question. So we are going to break the structure into three. Generally the structure we are going to break it into three as introduction, body, conclusion. So again introduction, make sure that you give 2 to 3 lines, and body is the crux, the main core, the content, and this is the important part. Conclusion again 2 to 3 lines. So make sure that in the conclusion you meet the demand of the question. You're going to identify, which means you're going to mark out the features of Indian Renaissance. So let's see how to write an answer. So it's a very simple question, features of Indian Renaissance. Again here, the first part again, introduction. So in the introduction, I'm going to write about a very small understanding about Indian Renaissance. So what is Renaissance? So if you take the meaning, it was introduced in the 19th century in India, and it was a Western concept. So the concept of Renaissance means rebirth or revival. Rebirth or revival. So we use the term revival, which is an alteration which was there in the existing form. Again, something which was born totally new. It was totally new to India. So there are two connotations here. One is rebirth, born altogether new, or revival, adjusting the existing form. So we have to address these both. So let's see what are the features of Indian Renaissance. So you can add here that it was introduced in the 19th century in India, and it was a Western concept. So again, moving on to the body. So in the body, what are we going to write? We are going to write about the features. So you can make a heading like features of Indian Renaissance, or the Indian Renaissance features are. So again, when you see the features, it was totally a new concept for India. So again, the first feature is it was totally a new concept. And this new concept, what happened? This new concept which was totally altering to the revival of existing evil practices in India. Say for example, there were many evil practices which was there in India, like the practice of sati. So it was totally, the Renaissance is a new concept. Again, revival of existing evil practices where sati was abolished. Again, the practice of marrying young girl child, that is child marriage, that practice was abolished, and again the concept of widow remarriage was introduced. So certain evils were actually revived. And how was this revived? This was revived through the socio-religious reform movement in India, which was taken by certain reformers. So here you can include reformers like Rajaram Mohan Roy, you can include reformers like Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, you can include reformers like Narayana Guru. So these reformers actually helped India to revive its existing evil practice. So they wanted to alter the evil practice. Say for example, again I told you the socio-religious reform movement, the Brahma Samaj, the Arya Samaj, and they were totally having a rational mindset. So the third feature of Renaissance was rationality, and this rationality where this helped Indians to actually grow. Generally in ancient and medieval times the concept of rationality was again narrow, but once the Britishers entered and they gave encouragement to the socio-religious reform movement, the concept of rationality was developed by the social reformers. So all the points are connected. Again rationality entered. The next one we take again Western education. So the concept of Western education was introduced by the Britishers through the socio-religious reformers. So these reformers encourage Western education. So the art of learning English literature, philosophies, again the concept of learning new languages, the concept of learning philosophical thoughts were encouraged. And learning all these philosophies and thoughts made Indians rational. This gradually, the Western education, rationality, again paved way for the concept of humanity. Humane ideas entered India through Renaissance. So any evil practices which was there in India, with the concept of humanity, local Indians themselves wanted to abolish it. Say for example, initially sati. Sati was welcomed, or sati was a practice which entered India during the Gupta period. But gradually it became a norm which was even given in Manusmriti. But when Rajaram Mohan Roy wanted to abolish it, many local Bengalis were totally against it. And when he approached Bentinck, Bentinck was for abolition of sati. But local Indians were against it because they thought that Britishers were intervening into all the local affairs. But as a human, if you take the side of a human, a normal human or a humane side, the practice of sati was something wrong. So again, on those perspectives, how do you get to know that it is wrong? You get to know only when you are rational. And how does this rationality enter? It comes only through education. Here, Western education, because Western philosophies, again the concept of rule of law, again Western thoughts were totally against evil practices. So we are taking a positive note here. Though negatives are there, we are only siding up with the positive aspects. Again, this humanity, again this was also addressed by the concept of Renaissance, which totally gave a new outlook. So again, outlook in the sense, outlook your thoughts and the appearance. So we are bringing in both together, which gave a new outlook. So this actually increased, and this outlook actually attracted many other Indians, and with the reformers changing the Indian society, an attraction was seen throughout India, and this attraction attracted even the locals. So even the locals now became aware of the concept of Renaissance through socio-religious reform movement. So all these points are interconnected. Again we say that, the next part again we say that growth of a common again we say that growth of a common mindset. Here again the common mindset was because Indians were allowed to think by themselves. So what they want, they were thinking, and they were addressing it to the government. So initially we never had this concept of a common mindset, and this gradually came with again humane values and rationality. So when you see all these features, again the next one we say that the concept of, in India we have the backward classes. So these backward classes were allowed to uplift themselves. So how to uplift themselves? Because India was always dominated by Brahmanical supremacy, but with all these concepts, the backward classes which constituted most part of the population, they were given a chance to enter into other platforms, and they were supported by the Brahmanas. So when these two groups started merging together, again we happened to have something called rebirth. A new concept was born again, which shattered the entire existing or the old norms which was prevailing in the society. That is what we mean here as revival. So all these were the basic features of Renaissance. You can just, and this Renaissance, since it grew in the 19th century, we have to take the policies and approach which was there in the colonial India. So all the credit goes to the reformers. Idea came from the Western world. Coming on to, so this is the first part, second part is the body. Coming on to the third part, the conclusion. So when you see the conclusion, here it says identify the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. So you're gonna, your conclusion should meet the parameters which are given in the question. So again you can say henceforth or therefore, thus, these are, the above said are the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance which made India to move further or which allowed India. So you can just conclude it in a way that you meet the demand of the question. So this is the core concept of Indian Renaissance. So let's move on to a sample answer. So when you see the sample answer, I've just given an introduction of Indian Renaissance where it reads, it was in the 19th century. Renaissance means revival or rebirth, and it was influenced by the Western thinkers. So it entered India from the West and it merged with the Indian situation and it became purely Indian. So again, body, we directly start with the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. It was a new movement. As I told you, it was totally new for India. Again, I've given examples of Rajaram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Narayana Guru. And these are the points. Universal outlook was there, Western education was there, studying. So glorifying more about India and telling Indians that you are much more ahead of your times. So again, emancipation of women, improvement of backward classes, propagation again, sati, child marriage. So these are the points you need to mention. The concept of self-respect, self-reliance, malpractices in the Indian religion. So you can add points and whenever you write a general answer, make sure that you see it from the question perspective, not your current perspective. So these malpractices of Indian religion were too much at that point of time. Again, conclusion, I use the term therefore. You can use henceforth, thus, because the question is just identify the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. So therefore, Indian Renaissance became an important part in the Indian society during India's freedom struggle, which gradually created rationalism and humanism. So these are the core point of Renaissance. So when you understand these two core points, obviously revival and rebirth would happen. So just go through the answer again, sample answer again, and again answer review. So we've just reviewed it like the parameters. Does the answer address the demand of the question? So this is very important. Are you meeting the demand of the question? Yes. So identify is what the parameter was. So you need to meet the demand. So answer relevancy, you need to mention the characteristic features of Indian Renaissance. Number 2, answer enrichment. Make sure that you highlight it. Here in this question answer, we've just written abolition of sati, widow remarriage and Western education. So make sure that you underline all those and you highlight them. If there is a current related scenario, you can add that also. But for this question, we do not have any of those. So we'll just leave it empty. Again, structure, introduction, body, conclusion. So make sure that your answer has got these 3 parameters. And the next one, presentation, make your handwriting legible. Subheading, points, bullets, highlighters are very important. So structure your answer in a way it looks nice, it looks neat, it looks attractive so that the examiner reads or completely go through your answer. The last one, the language and grammar. Make sure that you use simple language. Word limit, the sample answer what we've given is 165 words. So make sure that you stick on to your word limit.